you have a baseline of a minimum of 10%, and some of them will be much higher, 40%, 50%, 60%.
Liberals flip another seat. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, the Liberals have another seat under their belt after a judicial recount. We got updates with Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada. We've got more crime, corruption, and chaos, jewelry store break-in, a bunch of other news. Let's jump into this. First off here, we've got new polling data. This is coming from Shreya Teese and a new Nanos poll showing the Liberals have dropped 2%. The Conservatives dropped 2.1%. The NDP up 1.6%. Interesting. The Bloc dropping and the Greens going up. So this bump here from the NDP is because Jagmeet Singh stepped down. Maybe we're going to see the NDP hold on to their seats and try to rebuild this party. It's hard to know with what's going on here since the Liberals just got another seat. Maybe even after the Liberals recount their votes, they won't need the NDP's help. We got this one from Franco Terrazzano. It says, Carney plans on adding $100 billion more debt than Trudeau. More debt means higher taxes, worse inflation, and more money wasted on interest charges, which is what we see here coming from Table Salt. So coming from government documents here, the second line, Department of Finance expense list, $42 billion. Projected to become number one under Carney's spending plan, surpassing Canada's health transfer over the next few years. So what we're seeing here is interest on unmatured debt right here, $41.9 billion. We are wasting $41 billion on debt because Trudeau spent so much money, and Mark Carney's going to make this worse. Liberal boomers voted for this. Liberal boomers sold out middle-aged and young Canadians for their own greedy, selfish reasons. He's going to get so rich, his investments all rely on government subsidies. They'll go bankrupt without him. Pitchforks coming out. I don't know. Will we see Canadians rioting in the street once this country starts falling apart? Next up, we've got Pierre Poilievre at UFC 315 in Montreal. Man of the people. He should have won. The federal system has lost all credibility and legitimacy. That's how some people feel. Looking through the comments here, people saying he lost his seat. Why do you idolize this loser? Like, liberals are the most hateful, angry, outrageously awful people you could imagine. Rage flooding through their veins. I thought these people were supposed to be inclusive and welcoming of everyone. In reality, they're the least inclusive, angriest people on planet Earth. Side note here, for my Facebook group, look who tried to join. Evan Solomon. There's two questions you have to answer when you join the group, just really basic Canadian questions. He didn't answer the question, so he was denied access. One of my admins kicked him out. If you're not familiar who Evan is, he was fired from CBC from allegedly doing secret art deals with guests of the show. And one of those people was none other than our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. As it says here, CBC News ends its relationship with Power and Politics host Evan Solomon. Now we have David Cochrane doing that job. So he goes on to say he's deeply sorry. After Evan Solomon was fired, he went on to work for the Eurasia Group, more specifically G0 Media, subsidiary of Eurasia Group, which is a media group focusing on climate issues, net zero, all of that. And he worked there with none other than Mark Carney's wife, Diana Fox Carney. And guess who just picked up Evan Solomon to be a part of his team? Mark Carney. That's right. Once facing collapse, Liberals say they're raking in money and high-profile candidates. Former broadcaster Evan Solomon to run for Liberals in upcoming election. He went on to win his downtown Toronto riding, so now he's going to be representing Canadians in the government. Is this the most upstanding guy we could have representing Canadians? I don't think so. Next up, we got this one. Elections Canada finds 11 ballots. What has happened here is in this Trabone riding in Quebec, this went to a recount, then went to judicial recount, and it came back with the Liberals winning by one vote, one single vote. I can't say what my opinion is on this matter. I'm just going to show you the facts of what's happening here. You guys can decide for yourselves what you think's going on. So first off, let's take a look at this. So they're showing it here. Tatiana Augusta has won by one vote, 23,352 versus 23,351. Statistically, this is nearly impossible. If we see the final numbers here, 60,278 total valid votes, rejected ballots, 840 with a total number of votes, 61,118. Now, if we go back to the results here from May 1st down here, you can see 60,204 valid votes with 903 rejected ballots with a total number of votes of 61,107. Now, there's a difference there between these numbers, right? Where did the extra ballots come from? We can see here 61,118. That's 11 more votes. Where did they find 11 votes when they went to recount this? It wasn't just a difference of rejected ballots. And what needs to happen here is these rejected ballots, every single one of them with their serial numbers needs to be photographed and put on Elections Canada for Canadians to review. We should really have all these ballot counting processes filmed so there's video footage of every single ballot being counted. As this guy said, where did the 11 ballots come from? Why did the rejected ballots go from 903 down to 840 to come out with the Liberals winning by one? The next step here is to look into the judge who did this. It's Justice Danielle Turcotte. I can't find much on her and her ties to political parties. Other ridings here like this one are going up for recount as well. Although this Milton East is currently sitting with the Liberals winning, even though initially Parham Gill was winning and then it flipped. So this puts the Liberals at 170 seats right now. There's also Windsor and another one that are being recounted. If those suddenly flip and then the Liberals get to 172, it's interesting how Mark Carney said he wasn't interested in teaming up with the NDP. If ridings start flipping and they get a majority government, things get kind of stinky around here. You know, like SDTC document, $400 million being stolen from Canadian taxpayers. Stinky. What's going to happen with that? Do we get to find out what kind of fraud and corruption are in those documents? Or is that going to get swept under the rug too? The rejected ballots should be made public, yes. Elections Canada talks about transparency on their website here. If they want transparency, they have to release these ballots. They can't just say, oh, we counted them. Trust us, bro. Every single ballot should be put on here. If it's this close, enough's enough. We got this one coming from the Western Standard. It says breaking new report finds lockdown inflicted deep harm on Canadians. No doubt it did. So looking at the article here, this is some rough stuff here. It says those rating their mental health as fair or poor nearly doubled. We have the street candy crisis worsened during the world event. We have wait times for medical treatments rose by 43% between 2019 and 2024. And since 2018, this is a rough statistic, more than 74,000 Canadians have perished while waiting for surgeries or diagnostic procedures. Over 15,000 in the last year alone. This is a disgraceful statistic. Goes on to say here that lockdowns hit low-income Canadians the hardest. People getting taken out rose by 17%. Cybercrime nearly doubled. Life has gone downhill in Canada, yet 43% of Canadians voted for more of this. Next up from CTV News, it says Carney will be significant departure from Trudeau on policies, relations with Alberta and Saskatchewan. Coming from LeBlanc. Oh yeah? Really? Believe it when I see it. We got Brian Lilly posting this one here. Donald Trump talking about his 10% baseline of tariffs for goods going into the U.S. Will this be our new normal? As CUSMA is up for renewal, things are changing.
You are going to always have a baseline. I mean, there could be an exception at some point. We'll see. You know, somebody does something exceptional for us. That's always possible. But basically, you have a baseline of a minimum of 10%. And some of them will be much higher, 40%, 50%, 60%, as they've been doing to us over the years. We had a wonderful deal yesterday. We have 4 or 5 other deals coming immediately. We have many deals coming down the line, and ultimately we're just signing the rest of them in. But we always have a baseline of 10%.
Baseline of 10%. Is this plan going to work out for Trump? Canada is and going to be bankrupt. Carney knows it. Manitoba and all eastern provinces will be getting more transfer payments. It's over. Canada is teetering on thin ice. Government spending will provide an artificial high and a dramatic freefall. Double-digit inflation will become the norm. Carney's only sane move here is to agree with a fair trade deal with Trump. The status quo is unacceptable to America, as it should be. If you look at how much money America makes off our oil, this really needs to be brought into the negotiation. Time will tell to see if the American people approve of what Donald Trump is doing with these tariffs. Right now, he's sitting at 53% disapproval and only 41% approve. 6% don't know. We can see this graph here. Obama, Biden sitting at 34% and 14% plus. Donald Trump first and second. You can see 3% above and 3% minus. And as we go along here, basically all of them drop, but Trump is now down to about minus 12%, so lower than he was his first time as president. Really, this just comes down to the stock market getting shooken up. People don't like it when their investments lose money. That's really where this is coming from. Next up, we got Kirk posting this one. It says, your grandparents had a house with a yard. Your parents had a house with a yard. You should have a house with a yard. But after 10 years of Liberals, this is what they're planning for you, Canadians. Prefab houses, these have a place in society. I think these are totally fine for seniors downsizing, for college students. This shouldn't be the everyday home, though. This is not a home you aspire to move into. I'll work hard for the next 20 years and one day I'll buy one of these. Like, that's not inspiring at all. But if Mark Carney and Brookfield have their way, they'll be slamming these houses out and renting them to Canadians. You got to check out this story here coming from Rebel News. Tesla threatens Carney government with legal action over frozen EV mandates. This is hilarious, considering Mark Carney and Brookfield invested $250 million into Twitter, but they're also working directly directly with Tesla. You can see here, it's been a while since I mentioned this one on the channel. In 2021, Brookfield to create solar neighborhood with Tesla, approximately a $80 to $100 million deal. So they're putting up solar roofs. This one here, the Willowbrook Mall, first in U.S. pilot project. I believe this is in Texas. This one too is East Park, Southeast Austin, so also Texas. This is an entire neighborhood putting solar roofs on all of the houses. So the fact that you've got this going the other way now, Tesla suing Mark Carney, hilarious. On Rebel News website here, it says a letter obtained via Access to Information reveals Tesla Canada asserting full compliance with Transport Canada's program and demanding the immediate resumption of payments. We expect payments to resume in the immediate term, said the letter. Tesla reserves the right to seek appropriate remedies in the event we cannot consequently resolve this dispute, Tesla Canada's director of sales said. Goes on to say here they ended the EV rebates March 31st. The program distributed nearly $3 billion to over 500,000 buyers since 2019. This is ridiculous because if you can't afford an expensive EV, then you don't get the rebate. At some point here, I'm going to have to buy a new vehicle. I'm not going to spend $80,000 on an EV, even with the rebate. That's crazy. At this point, I'm looking at buying another Honda for $13,000 because it's reliable, even if it's 10 or 12 years old, and not an EV, a relatively efficient Honda CR-V. Furthermore here, Transport Canada informed Canadian dealerships via email on January 10th, saying that the money was dwindling here, and by the weekend, they had depleted the entire program. Independent dealerships fronted $10 million in rebates to customers. This is an absolute mess, and what a joke this is. On X here, we're seeing Liberals posting stuff like this, future PM. Yeah, I don't think so. This ditz is not going to be running Canada ever. I don't care if she's got a degree from Oxford, if she's a lawyer, she's an absolute bumbling buffoon. She's humiliating on the world stage. This guy's like, she is brilliant. This guy.
We have a plan when it comes to Canada, US. Our goal is first and foremost to prevent tariffs, second to prepare a response, and thirdly to think about long-term how we can make sure that we can diversify our economy, our markets, and prevent trade barriers amongst provinces and territories. We've been engaged, the three of us, on making sure we have a strong relationship with our new American counterparts, and we'll continue to do so.
Every time she talks, she says nothing. She says absolutely zero. Next up, we've got this one. Breaking U.S. intel warns massive Russian airstrike imminent. World leaders scramble to Kyiv. So we have all these world leaders, Macron, Starmer, Mayors, Tusk, just landed in Ukraine's capital under heavy security. That's a lot of blue suits.
Arrived on time. We had a comfort.
Ukraine, America, all these leaders having talks, trying to get Russia to have a ceasefire for 30 days. What is going to come of all this? Yes, it looks heroic. What if it's something darker dressed in noble robes? We got Marty up north posting this one, almost 8% unemployment rate in Ontario, and Toronto's at 10% and facing a housing crash as well. Elbows up. So the housing market in Toronto is crashing right now, and it's crashing in a spectacular fashion. All of Canada is facing a housing crash. It's not just residential. Commercial spaces are vacant across the nation. This is very, very bad. Businesses are leaving. I've had multiple business owners send messages to me and say that the carbon tax completely killed their business. It was impossible to operate it with it. We all know that the world event wiped out a ton of businesses, small businesses, not big businesses. Next up, we got this one from Stephen Taylor. It says, this is what progressive mean by privilege. This article says here, Justin Trudeau might be his father, but Zav wants to be known for his music. Look at this, CTV National, London, CTV Morning, CTV News, Vancouver Island. This is ridiculous. This is just promoting this guy. At one point, is this not just taxpayer funded promotion of Zav? I took a listen to his music. It's awful. He's terrible at singing. He has no skill. He has no talent. He clearly hasn't worked hard on it at all. He just wants to be handed this music career without putting any work into it, just because of his dad's name. It's pathetic. Privileged Laurentian elites. Wish Grandmaster Zav all the luck in the world. Just stay the heck out of politics. If Justin Trudeau is his son's manager, his career's already over. Given his lack of talent, probably a good thing. I found the clip here, and look, it's posted on Much Music. This stuff is awful, dude. This is not good music. It's bad.
Music video so far.
Yeah, I think I missed one of the videos.
Yeah, you gotta. How? You gotta watch that.
I don't
man.
have social media.
Come on. Who runs your Instagram? You don't run it?
Next up, we got this one from Chris Stacey. He's in Ottawa. This church is becoming a mosque.
Hey, Stacey here in downtown Ottawa, where I've come to find out that the church here behind me is being transformed into a mosque. This church was built in 1911. It was the first United Church of Ottawa. It's also been known as Trillium Hall. It is being converted into a mosque and is open as it's being converted. As you can see behind me here, this would be the entrance for the men. Open during construction, main entrance, men. And around the side here, we get the entrance for the women.
Entrance for men and entrance for women. I'm sorry, but where do all the other genders go in? Do they have another door? How does this fit in the Liberals' Canada? How or why is a church being converted into a mosque?
Christianity has been under attack in this country for some time. We've seen dozens and dozens of churches vandalized, many burnt right down to the ground. We've heard recently that the government is looking at revoking charitable status from churches that are pro-life. Be a lot of Christian churches involved there. And we also now are seeing here in Ottawa, churches being converted into mosques.
We must reclaim our culture. Congregation sold that church in 2007. That's why they're converting it. They sold that church and now they're converting it. Why does it have Chinese writing on it? Because there's a lot of Christians in China. I think what's more startling is the fact that there's different doors for different genders. Then again, not my religion. I'm not religious. So if it keeps people out of the streets and praying in their mosque, have at it. Next up, we got this one. Elbows up chocolate. Somebody trying to capitalize on this movement. Peace by chocolate, a Syrian family tradition. No thanks. We'll be passing on that. Next up, we got Daniel Smith here suggesting modifying the federal equalization payments to favor smaller provinces, to favor smaller provincial economies, such as those in Atlantic Canada, Newfoundland, and Labrador, believing the rules disadvantage them. So she mentioned this. She doesn't want to send any more equalization payments from Alberta to Quebec or Ontario. With that, here we've got this one posted by Annie. It says our federal government quietly extended the current program rates to 2029. This is why Ontario, our largest province, receives equalization payments in fiscal year 2025-26 to the tune of $546 million. There's no reason why Ontario should get any equalization payments, or Quebec. It's ridiculous. Daniel Smith also taking heat here from Calgary and Edmonton mayors, calling potential separatism referendum dangerous. What's dangerous is the Liberals not doing what's best for the people. That's what's dangerous. They're not pro-Albertan. They weren't even elected. Globalist, POS sellouts, both of them. Who cares what those clowns think? Next up, we have another smash and grab in a mall in broad daylight. This is every day in Canada, thanks to the Liberals.
The sound of shattering glass ringing out through the Place d'Orleans shopping center Friday evening. This video shows 3 suspects emptying display cases at Michael Hill Jeweler before filling their bags with expensive merchandise.
If I was the owner, I would be outraged. I would feel like, I had video stores back in my day, and I had break-ins, and I was feeling outraged the next day.
It's not a new experience, but it is sad when it happens.
It's the latest in a string of recent smash and grabs at Ottawa malls. The witness who captured this video tells CTV News at around 6:48 p.m. they heard what sounded similar to plates being thrown on the ground before turning to see 3 people in the jewelry store smashing display cases.
Wow, you can see here too. You can see there's 1 person and 2, and there's also a 3rd person. Don't they have baseball bats or something? The trash needs to get taken out in Canada.